The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. Additional support is provided by Athearn Trains. Check out all their new monthly announcements at athearn.com. The National Model Railroad Association, where membership has its benefits. Check out their website at nmra.org. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975.
Additional support for What's Neat This Week in Model Railroading is brought to you by SoundTraxx, leaders in DCC and sound technology for over 30 years. Model Railroaders Reader's Choice Award winner 2 times for Favorite Sound Decoder. For more information, visit us at SoundTraxx.com. And special viewers at What's Neat This Week, use the code WNTW15 during the month of June 2020, and you will get 15% off of your orders placed at SoundTraxx.com.
Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week, show number 122 for July 11th, 2020. It's been a great week, and we've got a full crowd tonight. In the studio with me, I've got Austin Allard, safe distanced over here, and he's going to talk about his wonderful new layout. On Skype tonight, we have, look at this, I've got Michael Budde in the bottom corner of the screen. Hi, Mike. I've also got...
Hello.
George Bogatiuk, all the way from Durango, Colorado. Hello, George.
Howdy, guys.
Up in the top corner, we've got James Regier. Hello, James.
Hi, everyone.
And last but not least, look at this. We have Rand Hood with us this evening, the incredible. Hello, Rand.
Hey, I'm glad to be with these guys, man. These are the heavy hitters. This is fun. Thanks for asking me to be on.
Also in the studio tonight, I have Jeff Meyer. Hello, Jeff, sitting here, keeping track of things. Plus, we've got a train running on the layout tonight, which is kind of nice. It's been a beautiful day outside. I can see the clouds out there, some storms in Illinois. But I just finished, again, working on the Garden Railroad, and I got a lot of cement poured last night, late into the night. The neighbors were watching me. It was around 3 o'clock in the morning. I was out there pouring bags of cement. I think I got half of it finished, and I picked up more cement tonight from the Home Depot, so I'll be working out there this evening to fill in the full 23 feet, 9 inches of 10-foot radius curve out there. It's taken a total of 9 or 10 bags of cement to complete that project. So look forward to next week having trains running outside, and that just brings us closer to the point where we can actually do a show outside, which I thoroughly look forward to doing, guys. There's been some pretty exciting announcements, and I know, Rand, you were excited about this announcement, and that is from Arrowhead Models from Blaine Hatfield. There is a new freight car that he has announced with his company. Now, you know his company's relatively new. He's come out with one freight car so far, which wasn't that the covered hopper or a open hopper that he had come out with, guys?
It was the committee.
Committee hopper, that's correct. Well, now he's come out with a Greenville. Greenville 2494 gondola, and it's got a lot of metal parts. I think one on the phone today when he was talking to me, it's got well over 150 separate parts. Of course, it's not a kit. It comes built, thank you very much. But it's got metal sides on it. Rand, you were excited about that because you could dent them. Is that right?
This is everything that we've been waiting for. In fact, I was preparing an episode to be on your show later about denting these things and doing loads in 52-foot mill gons. And this is the exact gon that I had just built, doing the old, the soldering gun and push out the sides. Well, they've done it with a thin enough etched brass that you can go in and actually dent the thing. Plus, it's scale thickness floor, so you can get the dents all the way down where it counts and looks real. So this is a game changer. So Blaine Hatfield hit this one way out of the park.
That sounds awesome.
A lot of people are excited.
No, we love game changers. That's a fact. So hats off to Blaine Hatfield. I know they had a new announcement yesterday. It was at a large hobby shop. Do you guys know the name of where that was being done at?
It was Lombard Hobbies.
Lombard. Okay. And this, of course, is also available on Arrowhead models on their website. So check it out, guys. This is pretty exciting to have another brand new freight car out there. And that's what this show is all about, to let you know about new products. I mean, the week they come out. And this one just came out yesterday. So that's really great news. Now, you know what? We've got Rand Hood and Austin Allard together, because you'll remember there was a What's Neat video that we filmed out in Rand Hood's living room in front of the fireplace. And you guys, Austin and Rand, were talking about layout design and how Austin would eventually design his new layout. Well, he's finished to the point of he ran his first train last week. And we talked about that on the show, about how exciting it is for us modelers when we finally, after all the work of bench work and laying foam and getting things all down, whether it's risers and open grid 1x4s or it's just a sheet of foam. But the fact is, it's so much great excitement when you run your first train on your layout, and then you can start worrying about scenery after that. But guys, I'm going to let you guys talk about this. All of us, in fact, are going to talk about Austin Allard's wonderful new layout, Austin. Probably starting out with you, Austin, because you had some pictures on Facebook that I'm going to grab off there and show to the viewers. Tell us about your layout.
So I got inspiration about Christmas to build a new layout. We began tearing the old one down. Since then, we've finished the walls in the basement. Put a bathroom in, and kind of knew the idea, the physical layout of the basement with a hallway and a lot more open space for people to be able to enjoy it. I thought it was kind of dumb, the old layout. It was just a layout. There was no place to sit down. There was not a bathroom. So we changed all that. I wanted for more of a place to hang out and not much as of just a huge layout. So we built just an exterior layout around the basement. I built a level. My dad's building a separate level to keep it separate. We've never, ever, ever agreed on what we want to model. So the best way to separate it was just he builds his and I'll build mine.
You're laughing, Rand Hood. What do you think about that?
I just think it's wonderful. It's like, I saw in the photos the two levels, and I'm like, oh man, how are they going to do this? So
yeah, everybody.
I think it's cool.
Everybody gave us a hard time. They're like, so you're not building a helix? And I'm like, no, that's the point, is to keep them separate. So, and I can remember talking to you in your beautiful house out in Larkspur, Colorado, telling you how I thought corn was boring. Well, thanks to Jeff Meyer for designing the plan that has a cornfield on it. So, good job, Jeff.
Good for you.
Cornfields.
All right.
I kind of
that's neat.
I went to Jeff and told him that I wanted something where Midwestern with industries. He basically said, if you're in the Midwest, you got to do a farm scene, which is obviously appropriate. And I wanted something where I could run BNSF trains one day and UP the next, and he came up with a pretty cool plan.
That's awesome, Rand Hood. I think you know what? I was there for that conversation, and you were really you were getting into Austin's head as you guys discussed ideas and ideology on how to go about building a new layout. Because there's a lot to think about, not only geography and location, but operation and the type of equipment and what era that you want to run. And all of that came together. I remember a couple of weeks ago, you were just giving them trouble, triple track main line or double track main line. Do you remember that? George,
Yep,
I
good.
understand that it was a great, successful situation last month when we had the WNTW What's Neat This Week 15 was the product code that folks would use on your website in order to receive a 15% discount on their SoundTraxx decoders and all the cool stuff that you guys have got on your website. And you liked it so much you guys wanted to do that again. Is that right?
That is correct. We are doing it again this month through the month of July. If you use your WNTW15 code, you'll get the 15% off at SoundTraxx.com. You'll also get access to our 2-time Model Railroader Reader's Choice Award winner for favorite sound decoder. And if you guys subscribe to the newsletter, we actually have a new announcement coming out this week.
Wow, but you can't tell what it is just yet.
So I actually have this locomotive, not quite, but some of you guys might be able to figure it out with what I've got sitting here behind me. This is an Intermountain Tier 4 locomotive that I just got done playing around with and getting it ready for the installation. So we'll have to wait till Thursday for...
Okay. All right. And so you've been getting a lot of work done on your layout, have you, George? You're still... And you kind of were in... what's the word? You weren't in lockdown. You were in quarantine this week, weren't you?
Yeah, it depends on who you ask, but there's some things about the local health. Let me say that again. The local health authorities that have. Some people will say you have to quarantine if you travel. Some say you don't. It depends on who you ask. But the bus lady, I think she decided to go on safety and just put me at home for 14 days. So for the last 2 weeks, I've been mostly working out of the house. So I've actually been working on a few projects. I'll actually throw a little help out to one of your all the other sponsors of your show, NCE. I've actually been working on these small little, I don't know how well you guys can see that, but this is their Illuminator decoder. And it's an accessory decoder that uses the Woodland Scenics Just plugs that plug right in. And I saw this and I thought, wow, this is amazing. And you can do all kinds of cool lighting effects with it. And so I started hooking it up here, and I'm going to see how well we see it over here. So I'm going to grab the camera here. We're going to take a walk. But I've got some street lights over here. Let's see if we can, how well I can make this happen here. I've got some street lights over here that you can kind of see illuminated. But if you look inside the house, you can see a blue light flashing.
Yes.
And what that is I'm trying to simulate a television.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
Inside the because you can adjust like a flashing pattern or anything like that. And what's really cool about this thing is one of the lighting effects is hang on a minute, let me make sure I use the right words. It is
I'm so glad you're talking about
mercury vapor street light, and it takes 30 seconds to get to full brightness. So when you power that accessory decoder on, it starts off dim and then slowly gets bright. So you have all kinds of cool lighting effects in there, including fluorescent flickers and things like that you can do. So this is the first one. I just got done installing this one. Over here on the highway, you can see the other two of the Woodland Scenics lights over here. And basically what I'm doing with these things is I'm just mounting a piece of styrene through I don't know how well you can see that, but just mounting a piece of styrene through the foam tubing, and then the wires fit through, and then I'm trying to do this with one hand.
It looks good.
So the wires fit through, and it holds it in place, and then if I need to move it for anything, I can just take it out and lay it down. So I don't have to worry about it breaking off because I glued it in place.
Oh, that's a good plan.
Right.
This is cool.
So I actually did a short tutorial on how I've been doing these on my personal YouTube channel, which I know you guys know me as Gold George. So you can find a short tutorial on that and some other operational videos that I've run on my layout here at home, just operating and showing different ways you can operate.
Right, Goalie George on YouTube, and this is a brand new decoder from NCE that connects to your NCE power system, right? And it allows you to light up your Just Plug Woodland Scenics accessories, whether it's automobiles or lighting effects, different types of things. So this is an add-on, a new feature on the NCE website that you guys can find at ncedcc.com. And I know we talked about this a few weeks ago, but now it's officially out. And you got a chance to finally use it, George, and I'm really glad you've shared that with us on the show tonight.
Yeah, I was pretty excited to play around with it, and it just works like an accessory decoder, so you can just wire it up to your DCC bus, because otherwise, where'd I put them? I don't remember. I have a few of those Just Plug hubs, but then you have to run the wires and daisy chain them around the layout.
That's right.
And those are just more or less an on-off light. And you can do, I think they have another one that you can adjust different lighting effects and things for, but this one, it's just a small as compared to my hand. And it just mounts with double foam tape, jump into the bus wire, and then you just turn it on and off with the accessory, and you're good.
How about that?
Nice.
Wow,
So-
that's impressive.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. I mean, like I said, I'm working on updating the layout, just doing little things here and there, playing around. I haven't really operated much, but that's going to change now that I've got this piece up and across the entryway into the house. So I'm going to operate and run some trains tomorrow.
Really cool. James Regier, I heard you got your trackmobile working finally. That completion, you're almost finished with that
Well-
project.
Almost done. Just a little bit of an issue with getting the A-Tiny 13 connected for the double strobes. Hopefully get that in control tonight, but I've seen the forward lights, reverse lights, the hazard lights, auxiliary, working actually in pretty good order. I've heard the sounds, got it programmed to a it's not a Cummins diesel, it's a yeah, it is a Cummins diesel.
Yeah, the Cummins.
Yeah. So that's sounding good. Everything is looking good so far. It's just a matter of getting this thing into final assembly and then putting on the final detailing so that it looks right again. You can see here I've put on a sort of home-built Keep Alive onto the trackmobile. They look like oversized fuel tanks, but there's actually 4 capacitors on there, so that hopefully it'll be able to go over a turnout frog without hiccuping too much on that. So it's coming together pretty nicely, looking pretty nice, and should have it done within the next day or two.
That's awesome. I'm sitting here in the studio with Austin and Jeff Meyer, like I said before. And you know what, guys? I love it that we're just running a train. I'm going to shoot some video of that train. It's running right in front of us. We've got our camera set up. Jeff Meyer is sitting here looking at a Cowcatcher magazine. And it's just a different perspective when you get to see what it looks like from the table. But I love watching trains run down here when we're doing a show. I think that's fun. Now, Cowcatcher magazine.
Is that your power on there, Austin?
No, it's Ken's. I think it's the Athearn SD60Es, the NS heritage units.
We talked about Cowcatcher magazine last week on the show, but I got the name of the website wrong. No, it's not cowcatcher.com, it's cowcatchermagazine.com, and I wanted to make sure that I corrected myself when I got that right. But I've got this one issue here in my hand, the September-October 2019 issue. And the reason I've got that is because I got contacted by the gentleman that's got the cover of this issue. His name is Greg McComas. And Greg is an amazing modeler. That's one of the benefits of us doing this show is the people that we meet. And Greg is one of those overachievers out there. I went to his blog, I went to his Facebook site. His layout is absolutely amazing. He's got his own fictitious railroad called the Michigan Interstate Railroad. His own paint schemes. He's just an amazing modeler. I mean, he builds everything, you name it, from ships to vehicles to amazing freight cars. This guy, we're going to have Greg on the show sometime in August because I think he'll be a fantastic interview for us. And Rand Hood, I know you've sent a lot of photographs tonight of some various things that you're working on. Are you still with me, Rand?
Yeah, I wanted to send in, I got the clue that Austin was going to be doing something agricultural with his layout. So when you guys came out last year, you were shooting some photos of grain bins and things along the old Rock Island. And the first photo that I've sent in shot just, the tie color is nothing but just gray. It's distressed. The ties are just falling apart. Plus, there's so much space between the ties. I thought I'd send this in so Austin could look at this and start peeling ties off his code 55 for his sidings. And the next shot shows that whole siding with all the ties missing. But one of the keys on this photo is the soil color and then the imported soil color. And I wanted, as my scenery tip, to let everyone know that there's more than just the dirt color. And dirt colors always get a little darker when you add glue. So one of the products I use is Durham's Rock Putty. I mix that in, and of course, the grouts and things do the same thing. But as we create this scene that you looked at in the second photo, take an airbrush and blow the dirt around before you set it, and you'll start seeing these wind-blown patterns that I'm showing in this photo. In the third photo, that's the modeled version of what I've done, it's very light color, but the imported soil or ballast or gravels that they would use as part of the railroad construction. But the entire photograph, the woods are all just, they're all just kind of a neutral tone, like they've been sun bleached. And then in the fourth photo, you back up and you see the sparsity of the vegetation. And that's kind of what I love about modeling the West is you don't have to do a lot to convey the scenes. And particularly with vegetation, you can just do the few spotty things like I'm kind of showing in this. But everything in this photo is warm tone because I want you to that this is an Indian summer happening. And then in the fifth shot is an overview, and it shows the temperature of a warm autumn with a very dry climate, no fall rains, and the vegetation matches the backdrop.
Yeah.
And that's how you get that kind of cohesive, setting the tone for a scene. So that's one scenery tip. The other is in show 112, we talked about rocks and how they should disappear. I showed an eroded out rock outcropping where all the soil had eroded away. And so the rocks are holding back soil and creating different planes, and the rocks define what that slope is. And in the second photo, the rocks are appearing and disappearing. They become natural retaining walls. So when we put rock outcroppings on the layout, you have to remember the soils behind them are going to build. And in the third photo, that shows the angle of repose, where the angle is going from the top left down to the bottom right. And that bottom right rock outcropping, you can see the angle of repose. And what that means is that's the angle that the soil stay in place. And very sparse vegetation on this. But I also wanted to show the railroad always, when they replace ties, just threw them over the side. And that's a very nice scenic feature, the sporadic nature of these things sliding down the hill. And in the fourth photo, just more treatments of the rocks appearing and disappearing, where a single spire of rock is creating erosion diversions around it, and the vegetation grows behind the rock. And in the last photo is the overall scene where you see the rocks coming in and out of the scene with the talus, with how things are washed out, and you're seeing the stones in the erosion channels, and then how the two rock forms that are coming up from the bottom have a talus area in between them. I wanted to say to Mike, thanks when I was doing the 112 for the inspiration to do all those automobiles and trucks and things. You got me going one night, and I just kept going, and I appreciate what you do because it's really hard to achieve what you do. So thanks for that. Man.
Thank you. Cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. It's a passion of mine. I kind of focus on the vehicles and stuff. I used to do scenery, but now I really just basically do vehicles and train parts that are related to the vehicles and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm glad somebody took it. Thanks.
I think we all do.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it.
I would agree. I think we all do. It's just a matter of how much time do we have to be able to do what you know, to try to emulate what you're doing and everything else that we do.
Right.
It's
thanks.
tough.
Yeah. Well,
and Rand, I just want to say really quickly, I'm always amazed at your eye for scenery because we talked about this before. I always read your magazine articles and so forth growing up and took all that stuff in. And there's no way I can retain all of that information over the years, but you kind of mentioned it. It's just observation. Look around you and just see what you're doing. That's one of the parts of the hobby that I really love, is because it's an artistry. You're seeing that and you're recreating that in an artist form. And I have to say, you've got a great talent for it, and Ken, yourself as well.
Yeah, I don't mean to be like a professor about it, but you're right. It's observing and because you're going to glue the talus down anyway. So go ahead and top coat it with a little soil, and make it believable. But so I appreciate that. And then
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, full disclosure here, like, we're not seeing the pictures, Ken is, but we're not seeing the pictures that you're talking about at all. But I'm hearing each little scene planned out, not only like an image, like a photograph that you'd take for just one moment of one particular time. You're telling this whole story of what's going on in that scene, and you're thinking that story through of what each of the little elements and objects is doing at a given point, and then trying to convey that, and that's pretty amazing. I'm picturing the images, even if I'm not seeing them, and I really look forward to when Ken has this out so that we can see those photos. It just sounds like an awesome job.
Right.
Well, it's almost like the way that a painter approaches a painting. They're going to say, I'm going to use these warm colors, or they call it key. We're going to do a warm key. And so the thing that I work with is, I'm in the arid West, regardless. Everything dries out fast. I mean, it's been 90 degrees here for the last week, and everything is turned brown. So to convey that, I'm not going to have a lot of cool colors like dark greens or things in the scene. And so when I'm buying static grass and things, I never get anything past a medium green. Everything I need is I'm mixing into straws and whatnot. But it's always kind of setting the temperature and thinking about what you're going to do. Like Austin's scene, when he's doing his backdrop, more than likely you're going to have some humidity in that. Depending if you're modeling from Grand Island east, your sky is going to be a different color than what George and I see as a sky out here. So, you have the chance to do more humid backgrounds where it's, well, like you guys in St. Louis, it's the same thing. When I lived in Illinois, it was the same way. Things were obscured in the distance. And part of the thing, like in the last photos I showed of the rocks, here was all this rock situation, but in the background up above timberline, here's the upper meadow. And by having that upper meadow painted on the backdrop, and then the foreground of all these rocks and slides and the precarious nature of the terrain on the side of the hill, I'm conveying a great distance by changing that up. So we all have our contributions. James, I study you when you're doing this lighting, because I'm trying to learn that. I absolutely have no knowledge of how to do these things. So you've been a guide to me, and we're all kind of learning from each other, which is just really fun. And so then we got to go back to Ken and say, putting this together, and then getting Austin out there actually producing it in the ground stages of this. So it's just fun to be a part of a group.
Rand, It's interesting to me. You were talking about the warm and sun-beaten look to what you're modeling now, but what I really remember you being famous for was just the opposite. When you were modeling Colorado with all the snow and the ice, and I mean how you had like ice behind the rails where the shadow of the rails prevented it from melting in the sun. I mean, there was just as much thought that went into your winter modeling, and I've never seen anybody do it better than you, man. I mean, that's great. So
I'm just a firm believer that the landscape is beautiful as long as there's a train going through it. So
There are those people that do like to model winter. Mike Confalone is another name that comes to mind. I know he writes a lot with Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine. A little bit earlier I brought up Greg McComas's name. And you know what? Something else he makes that he's going to send to us, he comes out with products for the hobby, and this EOT device is an amazing product. He sent me some photographs of this. This unit clips obviously on the coupler of a train, and it's a rear end train device for your locomotive or for your consists. And it's something I forgot to bring up when I talked about his stuff. Also on the table tonight, we've got some not diesel locomotives, but freight cars from Athearn Trains at athearntrains.com. And this is the 89-foot long runner flat cars. Those are those flat cars that are joined together with a metal steel bar so that they can haul those great big long 53-foot utility reefer trailers. We've got a set of them on the table from a previous run, but these have been announced in a brand new run along with some 50-foot Santa Fe ice reefers. And I'll run the PDFs of all of these freight cars, the ice reefers right now in front of you. They're coming out in various Santa Fe paint schemes. And it's just really cool. Not only does Ather make great locomotives, but something we don't talk about very often on the show is all the amazing freight cars that they do come out with. And I wanted to cover that tonight to make sure. Now, Mike, I'm going to pray that you have great sound for this next segment. You've sent us a lot of photographs. You've been working on these, what are they called? What are the auto rack that you're making?
Vert-A-Packs.
Vert-A-Packs.
Yeah, Vert-A-Pack. Yeah.
So why don't you run through the photographs and talk to us about that, and let's hope that the Skype works.
Okay, this is a brass model that had 2 opening doors in the center, one on each side. And so I decided I wanted to detail out the inside of it with vehicles. And since John Tyson sent me a Vega, I was able to cast that and make a bunch of cars. And to get the ones that are hanging on the inside of the car that you can only see when the doors are open, I had to there was only room for 2 cars on each side of the open door, so I had to glue 2 vehicle features are, and then I mounted those on the inside with the nose down on each side of the open door. So now I for itself and have the vehicles on there. I think I'm going to try and work magnets into it somehow to have the cars stick on the door with a magnet before the doors are closed. So the pictures the rest of the pictures are just a bunch of X-Acto Vert-A-Packs that I had weathered. I have a lot more than what are in these photos, but these are the only ones I have weathered. And there was one at the very end of this row of pictures. It's an L&N. L&N had these Vert-A-Packs, but for some reason X-Acto never did that road name. And so I had William Brillinger make some decals for the right size for this side of this car. So that's one more that I have that nobody else has. So,
Oh, nice.
so,
Hey, Mike. Tell me about how the Vega juice didn't run out of the engines when they put them on their nose.
Well, they had special plugs in the oil filler tube so that the oil didn't run out that way, and then there was a baffle in the oil pan that prevented it from going into the number 1 cylinder. And then the battery fillers and the windshield washer bottle were mounted at a 45-degree angle, so that theoretically it didn't run out when the car was shipped in a vertical position. But I've talked with guys that worked on those cars, and every time I start talking about this project, I have to listen to all the Vega jokes, people about the rust and engines burning up and everything. And it's true, they were bad cars, but they were trying to make 100 of them per hour too. So
Sure.
that's what you get, I guess.
Did you have one of the unloader guys kind of standing out there looking at the bottom of his shoe?
Yeah, right.
Just be subtle.
Well, I was actually going to say kind of along those lines, Mike, you just kind of pointed out the observations like what Rand was talking about. So on the bottom of your car that had the doors that open, you should paint some of those fluid colors there on the floor to kind of weather the inside of the car too.
Sure. I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that for sure.
Cool project.
Well,
Cool.
Thanks. Another thing I sent Ken pictures of is, I don't know if any of you guys are fans of the rock group The Who, but they have an album called Quadrophenia, and there's a scooter in there, of GS scooter Vespa, and
no.
I sent Ken some pictures of this finished model, but I detailed it out like the one on the album cover, and with all the mirrors and everything, and I made him have his wartime coat and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's another thing I've been working on. So.
That's great.
Really.
You guys, we got all these freight cars on the table, but the one cars we have are these What's Neat This Week cars, right? And those are available. Who makes those?
Value
Trains.
Value Trains USA. Right. And you can find those on their website in the event that anybody out there wants to have a wonderful What's Neat This Week freight car on their layout, or even go as far as to weathering it up so it looks absolutely amazing. Check them out at the Value Trains website, valuetrainsusa.com. I remember that. You know what? They've been on the table for weeks, for 3 months. And for 3 months, we haven't even talked about them or said that they're available. There are multiple paint schemes, the black one, the gold one, this gray one here, with our logo on it for the show. So check them out. And I think we're going to bring this one to an end. Is there anything else that we haven't covered on this one? Everything's good? Austin?
No, I'll just throw out one last little thing about on SoundTraxx. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we've got lots of tips and hints on how to use the decoders. Also, we've got some installation videos. I just got done doing a Broadway conversion, Ken, similar to the ones that I did for you a while back. So this is one of the more recent models that they have available. So we'll talk about that. And so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also our newsletter so you can get up to date on any of the new announcements that we have coming out, because we've even got stuff scheduled beyond this next week. Some really, really exciting stuff that I'm very excited about. I really wish I could say something this week, but we're not quite there yet. So be sure to subscribe to the newsletter. Ken, thanks again for everything you do for us. We appreciate everything.
Yeah, we love SoundTraxx decoders. Great sound. We're running trains tonight with our NCE systems, and I'm looking forward to that. Plus, I get to pour some cement at up till 3 o'clock in the morning out there. We're going to have bright spotlights set up, and I want to get that Garden Railroad running by Sunday and get this podcast edited and out by Sunday. The What's Neat This Week for July is currently running. I saw it. It just came out, in fact, yesterday, and that is a video, 52-minute long video on how to solder. And we cover every aspect of solder and every tool that's used in the hobby to solder, track, electrical wiring, scratch building, brass buildings, locomotives, freight cars, you name it, resistance soldering, pencil point soldering. We talk about all the different fluxes that are available. We talk about wire wick, which is something used to remove solder. It's a very comprehensive video. If there's anything about soldering that's ever been a mystery, we solve the mystery in this video running currently at Model Railroad Hobbyist Magazine's YouTube site. And August video is complete. I've got all the segments done in that, and we're currently working on September. And George and James are both doing segments for the September video. So a lot of neat material that we've been able to compile since we've all been locked down here in our homes. And we wish everybody the best of health, and everybody out there stay safe. This is the best hobby in the world with the best people in it. Jeff Meyer, Austin Allard, Mike Budde, James Regier, Rand Hood, and George Bogatiuk saying, hey guys, let's go run some trains.
Let's go run some trains.
All right.